Fight!
What is going on, everybody? I'm back. Welcome back to Fighting with Numbers. This is episode 43 of the pod. This essentially kicks off the second year of the pod, but this is a full first season for the model for the website here on Fighting with Numbers. And we're back. The UFC took a week off, and so did I. I went on vacation. I went to Florida. It was nice, to say the least. It was fun. Had some great times with some great people. But that is over. The week off is over. The UFC is back, which means so is Fighting with Numbers. Before the break, just to catch you up, the model went 3-3-1 at UFC Vegas 117, a push and a split record. Not a strong week. Honestly, the card didn't give us much to work with to begin with. The betting side went 2-0, and that's what matters. You know, we fired on what made sense and stayed away from the rest. That's what we're supposed to be doing. The model will have losses, and that's okay. It's a predictive tool for us to identify bets that make sense. So, overall, the model sits at 58, 33, and 5 on the year. That's 63.74%, right in the range of what we've been hovering in, right? I talked about some regression. It has settled, and we're going to keep grinding through it. We will keep finding wins through the bets. This week, the UFC heads over to Macau for an international card. If you're watching live in the States, good luck to you. It's a 4 a.m. Eastern start time. Set the alarm, catch the replay. I doubt you'll be seeing it live because that is 1 a.m. Pacific time. I don't think I'll be getting up or staying up late. This will be a watch it later in the afternoon replay type of situation, or catch what I can when I do wake up in the morning. We'll play it by ear. It's not exactly the most splashiest of cards, so do what you wish. Don't worry. We've got you covered here on Fighting with Numbers with what I can provide before fight night. I'm only breaking down 2 fights today. It's a short podcast. Don't worry. There are other fights I ran through the model. They're just not exciting enough for me to talk about. But as your reminder, you can always check out full model data, season dashboard, this week's fights at fightingwithnumbers.com. Don't forget that, fightingwithnumbers.com. And your last reminder, I am Rob Moreno, a.k.a. Bobby Knuckles, a.k.a. The Robbio. Find me across all social medias at The Robbio, primarily Twitter and Instagram. And yes, we are back. Episode 43, UFC Macau preview. Let's go. And let's just go straight up to the co-main event. Mingyang Zhang versus Alonzo Menafield. This is where we're going to start. Mingyang Zhang suffered his first UFC loss back in August, a second-round knockout at the hands of Johnny Walker, the cartoon character of Johnny Walker. Before that, he had been dominant in the promotion, to be honest, and he comes in at 3-1 in the UFC, looking to get back on track. Worth noting, Zhang barely actually qualifies for the model, even with his 4 UFC fights. In the books, it's a very small sample size, as most of his fights have ended in the first round, or as his last one in the second round, but there is enough cage time to qualify him. So it's a small sample size caveat, but what we have is good enough. Alonzo Menafield's on the other end of the trajectory, coming off a TKO loss to Volkan Ozdemir in November. He's now 38 years old, just 2-3 in his last 5. The career seems to be winding down, if I'm being honest, and the numbers kind of reflect that. XR percentages, Zhang at 77%, Menafield down at 53%. That is very close to that red flag. That gap tells the story right there of where these fighters are in their careers. The striking picture is stark. Zhang lands a remarkable 7.42 significant strikes per minute with a 2.16 differential. He's absorbing a fair share at 5.20 per minute, but he's putting out nearly twice what he's taking. So that is elite output, especially at light heavyweight. Menafield lands 3.74 significant strikes per minute with a negative 0.16 differential. He's being outworked in exchanges. And while Alonzo does carry 6 knockdowns on his resume, some power, he hasn't scored one since 2023. He hasn't finished a fight since 2022. There's a real regression in his finishing ability, and the fact that he's been knocked down in each of his last 3 losses tells you the chin is being tested more frequently now as well. The ground game, honestly, it's not even relevant here. Zhang has 0 takedown attempts in his UFC career. He's a striker. Menafield presents no real ground threat either, with only 5 UFC takedowns at 36% accuracy. This fight lives and dies on the feet. This is very one-sided if it stays on the feet. The model is firmly on Mingyang Zhang. 82.47% win probability from the model. Full confidence, tier 1 favorite. The money line is hovering around minus 250, minus 258. Not the most exciting number to come back from a week off with, but if you're looking to have action on the fight, Zhang by knockout when it's available in the market is probably the one that makes the most sense given the striking profile. We'll see what Vegas puts up later in the week before pulling the trigger on anything specific, though. Zhang is the model's prediction on the play, and the money line is workable if you really want it. As I mentioned, there's not a lot to do. Maybe a tiny parlay with our next conversation, but the prop is where the smarter money probably likely sits. Man, I got to shake off the vacation cobwebs here recording the podcast. I am back in form, I promise. Song Yadong versus Davison Figueiredo is actually a very interesting matchup here in the main event at UFC Macau. Song Yadong dropped a decision loss to Sean O'Malley back in January, and he's looking to correct course now. His last win was a technical decision over Henry Cejudo in 2025. A weird fight, weird ending. Before that, a loss to Peter Yan. He's gone 3-2 in his last 5, dating back to 2023. He's only 28 years old. Song has plenty of time and the talent to get back to where he wants to be, but the path back starts this Saturday in UFC Macau. Across from him is the former 2-time flyweight champion, Davison Figueiredo. Figgy made the move up to bantamweight and started his new division run with a 3-0 win streak. Looked like he had found a new home, but since then, it's been 1-3 in his last 4, capped by a decision loss to Umar Nurmagomedov most recently. Oh, and he missed weight in that fight too, so now he's at a higher weight class, missing weight. Not exactly the resume you'd typically reward with a main event slot, but here we are. Thank you, UFC. Thank you, Paramount. At 38 years old, the former champion is being put to a real test here, along with Song Yadong trying to earn his way back into the win column. So let's start with the XR percentages. Song, 63%, Figueiredo down at 44%. That 44% is a significant red flag, especially for a former champion. Figgy is losing the majority of his rounds right now. That's a pattern of decline, not a blip on his record. The striking tells a very similar story. Song lands 4.42 significant strikes per minute with a positive 0.48 differential, clean, controlled, and he has scored 7 knockdowns in the UFC without ever being knocked down himself. That combination of output and durability is exactly what you want to see. Figueiredo lands just 2.63 significant strikes per minute with a negative 0.84 differential. That is low. That is not good. And here's the number that really stands out. He has scored 12 knockdowns in the UFC in his time, but only 1 knockdown in his last 8 fights. It's been a minute since he's been able to use that power. I'm not sure it is carried over into this new weight class. The power that made him a 2-time champion at flyweight simply hasn't translated the same here at bantamweight. Whether it's the weight cutting, the age, or a combination of both, the finishing ability has taken a serious hit for Davison Figueiredo. The grappling gives Song the edge as well. 61% control rate in the clinch and ground time. Figueiredo's only at 48%. Figgy is a busy guy, though. He is still attempting 2.29 takedowns per 5 minutes, but only 35% accuracy against Song's 74% takedown defense. He's not going to find much success dragging this to the ground, if I'm being honest. The model, it lands firmly on the favorite, Song Yadong. 71.31% win probability from the model. The odds, though, are out of control. As you can see on the screen, minus 600. You can find them at minus 550 if you're really shopping around. But even as an elite favorite, that number is dead to us. There is no world where we're going to lay minus 550 on a main event. The value is gone, unfortunately. The value just isn't there. So the prop hunting will begin. Song by decision is at plus 175, and that's the number that just makes the most sense to me. Figgy, he's been in wars with elite fighters in his entire career, right? He is tough, and he's been stopped, but not exactly easily, and he's the type of fighter who finds ways to survive rounds even when he's losing them. Song at plus 175 to ground out a decision feels like the right way to back this fight. Song by knockout at plus 110 is also floating around if you believe the finishing power is there. And Song does have knockdown ability, obviously, but given Figgy's durability, even in decline, the decision prop just feels cleaner for me. Song Yadong is the model pick. It's the rightful side. The straight line just stays in the wallet, though. The decision prop is where we're looking. And that is it for UFC Macau. Like I said, a shorter podcast, shorter preview this week, but there are still more fights to look at. If you want to go check out the website, fightingwithnumbers.com, I'll have the write up as well available later in the week. It's an early morning start for those of us stateside. And the two fights I talked about, seems like the prop market is where the action will be this week rather than the money lines for me. You could parlay those two as well. I believe they fall to around minus 167 if you put those together, depending on the odds you find. So that's not the worst. It'd be a very short night, but as I mentioned, we may not even see these fights when they happen in the morning. We'll see what time I wake up. We're at 53, 33, and 5 on the year. We keep on grinding. It's only May. We got so much time to go, so many fights to look at. The process holds even when the weeks are quiet. Head over to fightingwithnumbers.com for the full season dashboard, model data. Everything is there in one convenient little place for you loyal listeners, and for you non-loyal listeners as well. It's still at the same place. As always, find me on Twitter, X, and Instagram at @TheRabio. No more TikTok for me. That's a waste of my time. If you're enjoying the show, subscribe, leave a rating, share the episode with a fellow fight fan. It helps more than you know. And actually, those of you that do know, even share it more because you know how much it means to the podcast. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time. Enjoy the violence, everybody.
Perfect.